Now, conference on Ukraine was convened in Jeddah, where National Security Advisor Ajit Doval was in attendance, and CNN News 18 has gained access to the significant points put forth by NSA Doval during the meeting about the Ukraine and the peace talk related to Ukraine hosted by Saudi Arabia. Now, India has consistently maintained active engagement with the Russia and Ukraine from the inception of the conflict, and at the highest diplomatic levels, India staunchly supports the global order that rests upon the fundamental principle outlined in the UN Charter and international law, the imperative of upholding sovereignty and territorial integrity by all nations in non-negotiable and must be universally honored. The pursuit of peace involving all relevant stakeholders is of paramount importance in achieving a fair and lasting resolution. It is in alignment with his commitment that India participated in the Jeddah meeting. I have CNN News 18's Anand Narasimhan joining to me to give me more details about that. Anand, over to you.
Good morning to all our viewers. Yes, respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity must be universally acceptable and universally implemented, upheld without any exception. This is something which India has very clearly outlined there. The NSA Ajit Doval was part of this meeting, and they said that right since the beginning of the conflict that India has engaged with both Russia and Ukraine at the highest levels. More importantly, India has highlighted that there have been all peace efforts that have involved multiple stakeholders must be pursued to find a just and enduring solution which is acceptable to both sides. So it says India has said that it participated in this meeting in Jeddah purely in that spirit, whereas India has borne the brunt, and so has the entire global south because of this entire situation. And India has provided not just humanitarian assistance to Ukraine but also to many friendly nations or nations around in its neighborhood in the global south. But more importantly, India has said that yes, dialogue and diplomacy is the way forward, but what is important is that the efforts must be directed towards peace so that there can be acceptance on both sides. A solution which is acceptable to both sides has to be arrived at. That is the endeavor, and whether or not that situation will ever arise is the larger question, because it presents a twofold challenge. One is the resolution of the current situation, and secondly, softening the consequences of the conflict on the other nations, especially the global south. So, although India has said that many peace proposals have been put on the table, and each of these peace proposals has some positives, but it is not acceptable to both sides, and more importantly, will there be a solution that will arrive that will be acceptable to both sides? Plus, it has to be lasting. The other thing India has said is that India remains an active and willing partner to find a lasting and comprehensive solution, because nothing will give India more happiness and satisfaction than such an outcome. But somewhere it just looks like, are the talks heading to a stalemate? Is one hand trying to uphold the other, upend the other? And is this resistance going to remain till the time there is perhaps some absolute resolution of the conflict, which could only further hurt the global south and, of course, the entire global economy? At this point, India is saying that let's try and arrive at a solution that is acceptable to both sides, acceptable to all, and that the solution is permanent and lasting. But more importantly, India is saying that if you are looking at territorial integrity and sovereignty of one nation, then that principle should apply to all nations and equanimously everywhere. Universally, it should be upheld everywhere. So that's also a larger message that's being sent, saying that whatever template is designed or decided as far as Russia and Ukraine is concerned eventually, that should also then apply to some of the other nations and elsewhere too, where there are challenges about territorial, about sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Well, Anand, thank you so much for putting all that into perspective.